Hi everyone, today I want to spend some time introducing you to CABI Compendium, what it is, what it contains, and how to use it. So, to start us off, this is the CABI Digital Library. Here you can see all of our resources and products brought together in a single place. So depending on how familiar you are with the compendium, you may have used or seen the compendium channels when they were separate websites, but now the compendium is a single website in the CABI Digital Library. Now you can access the compendium using this menu here under Knowledge and Data, it's there, or alternatively by using the Browse Products button at the top there, which will take you through to CABI Compendium. So CABI Compendium is a datasheet-based resource, as it says here, a scientific knowledge resource for environmental and agricultural production, health and biosecurity. Today we're going to explore the content in the compendium to give you an idea of how it all works. The compendium homepage allows you first and foremost to search the full catalogue of compendium datasheets, but also shows our most viewed datasheets at the top here, along with some buttons to take you to pages for requesting access to data for yourself, or to collaborate with us on writing datasheets. Further down the page you have the channel tiles, so these will take you through to the landing pages for each of the channels here. So the invasive species channel is open access, so anyone can explore its content, but the other channels are only accessible with a subscription or via the purchase of access to individual datasheets. In addition to these channels here, we have commodity channels, which focus on datasheets relevant to a particular commodity, and we're looking to expand, well, both lists of channels. These ones here we're continuing to build on, and similarly adding more commodities is the plan as well. So if we select the invasive species channel as an example, it'll take you through to the landing page for this channel. So it has broadly the same layout as the compendium homepage, but its content is now filtered to datasheets purely relating to the topic of invasive species. Same as on the homepage here, you can carry out a keyword search from here, or beneath the most viewed list we can use the View All Content button, which will take you through to a search result page containing all the datasheets in this channel. So at this time we have 15,520 items within the invasive species channel. If we scroll down the side here, you'll see that 10,300 of these are datasheets. So from these search results, you can then refine the search using these filters on the left-hand side. These include the publication date, author, keywords, datasheet status, datasheet type, and taxonomic filters. Now I've just mentioned that one of these options is datasheet status, and it's important to just take a moment to mention the difference between a basic datasheet and an enhanced datasheet. Basic datasheets contain taxonomic information, species relationship data, and distribution data where it's available. But enhanced datasheets have been written and peer-reviewed by species experts and contain much more detailed text and table data. At this time we have nearly 73,000 basic datasheets and over 7,000 enhanced datasheets. I want to highlight our datasheet on the coconut rhinoceros beetle just to give you an example of an enhanced datasheet. So the datasheet types for this datasheet are pest, natural enemy, invasive species, and host animal. These datasheet types dictate the list of sections that you can see down the side here. I'm going to go through this datasheet reasonably slowly to give you an idea of the content that we have within these datasheets. This is a good example of the sorts of things that we have in an invasive species datasheet, but a lot of our datasheets share sections with this datasheet type, even if they're not invasive species. So at the top here we have a generated abstract. This just highlights the list of datasheet sections you can expect to find within this datasheet. Beneath it we have an identity section. So this contains the preferred scientific name and preferred common name according to our chosen taxonomy, and a list of other names, be they scientific, international common names, or common names in other languages. We also, where it's available, have the EPO code for the species as well. Most enhanced datasheets have pictures that have been selected by our in-house image specialists, or that have been supplied by the authors when they write these datasheets. Beneath the pictures, you can see how information is presented in the enhanced data sheets as a combination of text sections. Like you can see below here, we have the description section, which is text section, and then table sections, which we'll see some examples of in a minute. Before we go down past it, it's important to mention the taxonomic tree section here. The data sheets are aligned to the Cabthosaurus taxonomy, and you can see the taxonomic tree for every species on the datasheet, whether it's enhanced or basic. Now I mentioned we have the text sections like description. The distribution section here is a summary of the distribution information for the species, but beneath that we have both a map, which shows the distribution information that we have for this species. This is filterable, and similarly you can download a KML file for use in other maps or a CSV of the distribution information for this species. And then beneath that we have the distribution table, which contains all the information that we have for this species distribution. At the bottom beneath that we have distribution references, which you can select the references from in the table and it'll take you to them, which is always very useful. Beneath that we have some more text sections on the risk of introduction, the means of movement and dispersal, and the host of species affected. You can imagine that these are sections specific to invasive species or species that affect other species. But as I say, they're examples of text sections. Other datasheet types have different text sections that are filled out in a similar way. We also have an example of a table here for the species. Now this is interesting because it contains the host plants and other plants that the coconut rhinoceros beetle affects. Now there's a link against each of these species which will take you through to the datasheet in CABI Compendium for that species. And if you were to do that, you'd be able to explore the datasheet for that species, and also it would contain a link back to the coconut rhinoceros beetle as a pest for that species as well. So the relationships within CABI Compendium are an important and powerful way to explore the relationship between species. I'm not going to go into great detail on all the sections in this datasheet, but I hope you get the idea. We have text that's been created by expert authors. We've got tables, similarly, that have been populated by the expert authors, but allow the information to be explored in hopefully useful and different ways. We have the habitat list, where you might expect to find the species, the biology, natural enemies, again, text summaries and tables for the species, the impacts that you might expect this species to have, or that the species has been recorded as having, detection and inspection, prevention and control, all very important information for this species in particular. At the bottom here we have a link to a website, but obviously it depends on what websites the authors have considered to be of interest for readers about an individual species. So one final thing to mention, obviously below here we have a reference list. Now these datasheets are fully referenced. If you scroll slightly back up again, you can see the citations within the text. If you select that, it'll bring up the bibliography down the side and it'll take you directly to the reference that the citation points to. Where it's available, there are also links here to Google Scholar, Crossref and CAB abstracts as well. So that's a brief introduction to a datasheet, how you might explore it, how it might be useful. We do have other types of datasheets within the compendium as well. I wanted to spend just a moment to introduce you to the datasheets that we hold on geographic locations as well. So it's important to note that these are only accessible with a subscription. But hopefully you'll get an idea for how they can be useful and how they are used to pull together information on species that we have in CABI Compendium that are relevant to certain places. So if we start with the Hawaii datasheet, you can see that it has sections down the side here including the trees present in the country, list of animal diseases, list of pests, and the list of species. So these are all large tables containing all the species that have been listed as being present in the country. So the list of species contains all of the information from the other tables to bring it all together. You can explore these, you can use the links to the data sheets to look at the information on particular species, and similarly you can download the list from each of these tables for your own use as well. Additionally, on country datasheets, you can see that you have the same sections as you do in the other geographic location datasheets, so the same list of species, as well as a section for summary information that's taken from World Bank, is updated annually and just provides useful information about the country. But also we have 3 very useful tables around agricultural production, land usage, and pesticides trade. This information is again updated annually and is taken from FAO Stat. They're very useful tables, and it's just quite a nice way of having all this information on these geographic locations in one place. So this has been a very brief overview of the CABI Compendium. I hope that it's been interesting and perhaps answered any questions that you may have had. If not, please do feel free to see the help page that you can see that's accessible from the Compendium top menu here to find the answers to some frequently asked questions. And otherwise, please do contact us using the contact form at the bottom of the website down here. You can see at the bottom here. We're always happy to help. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy using CABI Compendium.